Snoop Dogg, right? The grandfather of rap was talking. He said, "Look, as you grow, there's going to be a gap that forms between the people you know and where you are. And if you try to come down to say hi to them and fill that gap, the gap gets smaller, but so does your income. And so you've just got to go and hope that they'll follow you because that's the only way the gap's going to close. They've got to ask you. They've got to ask you for directions on how to get there. You can leave the channels open. I'm not saying close off friends, but just spend less time with people who don't want to close the gap. When I see Mike do well in Tesla, like I was inspired to catch up to Mike in Tesla. Like I said, I see him doing great in stocks. It inspired me to go and learn more about stocks. When I see Mitch and Mike doing great in crypto, it inspires me to go and close the gap. So a good friend, a true friend wants to close the gap on their own behalf. And a friend who isn't a good friend wants you to close the gap on their behalf. Does that make sense? Get rid of broke friends. Get rid of friends who don't want to grow with you, who don't want to support you, who don't want to push you forward and aren't willing to go catch up to you. The reason me and my brother have such a strong relationship is as we've been growing, one of us is always ahead of each other. One of us is always ahead of each other in something. And as soon as we get ahead, the other will ask, hey, how'd you get up there? How'd you do that? And the rope's always been left behind. Like, hey, by the way, it's right here. I left the rope for you. Follow me. Let's go. And he'll pass me in some things. I'll pass him in some things. There's a good chance. I've always said it. There's a good chance he's going to pass me in real estate. And he just closed on his first deal. It's $1 million deal with no money out of pocket because I left the rope behind. Because when he finally, 5 years later, after me investing, well, I've been buying house since 2008, so it's been a long time. But the last 13 years of him watching me own and buy real estate, he's finally said, hey, how do I skip ahead? How do I jump past all the other BS you had to go to get there? Where's the rope you left behind? And a couple of quick conversations and he's following the path. You can leave the friends behind and leave a trail so that they could follow if they chose to. Leave them room to come and follow you, but don't sit there and be like, hey, the rope's right here. You should come. Like, come on. They will follow if they want to, if they care about the relationship with you, if they care about what you're doing. Look, none of my friends can pass me for very long if I really love them, if I really care about the relationship, because I'm going to ask, dude, how do I get to where you're at? I want to do what you do. I want to talk about what you're doing. Perfect example. I remember that I hate fishing, by the way. I'll just throw it out there. If you like fishing, God bless you. I think it's fantastic. But one of my friends loves fishing. And because he was such a close friend of mine, he'd always invite me to fish. And I'd be like, how about no? Like, I like the other stuff we do. We just sit around fires and we talk about ideas. And after a little while, I realized I wasn't seeing him. I wasn't spending any time with him. So I went and I bought a fishing pole. I called him up. I was like, hey, what's the best pole? And he and I went shopping for poles together. This is what bros do. We went shopping for poles together. We went shopping for reels together, bait together. And we spent a lot of time preparing to fish together. And then I would go that freaking 5 a.m. in the cold, freezing my ass off. And it's always raining at that time in the morning in New England for some reason. And we would fish and get bitten by bugs because the sun's not up yet. But we would spend time together because I cared about the relationship. Does that make sense? Like, I hate fish. To this day, every moment of it, I hated it. Every single moment that he and I were not talking, I hated. And then when we were talking, I'd be like, okay, that's why I'm here doing this BS fly fishing thing, right? But I love the relationship with my friend, so it's worth it. Financially is the same situation. Your friends can follow you. Your friends will follow you if they care about you. If they care about themselves, they'll ask about it. But if they care about you, sometimes friends will just be successful because they want to spend more time with you.